Louis, it was an absolute pleasure to have you at the Aldar Expert event. And I think what resonates a lot with the salespeople is your background. As Spencer always quotes, salespeople are the orphans of the industry. They probably didn't fit anywhere, or they didn't have the opportunity to study and become what they can be in a potential corporate career.
Sure.
So what advice would you give to somebody who just starts in a sales environment and perhaps find it a little bit difficult because most of the time it's commission-based?
Yeah. I feel like sales is the best place to get started because you learn the most about yourself. It's one of the scariest places to be, so it gives you an opportunity to build thickness, emotional thickness, by getting said no to and rejections over and over when you're trying to sell something. And also the third thing, you have the most opportunity to making more money than you would at a corporate career because of the commissions. So there's no limit to how much you can make. I think one of the greatest things we can give ourselves is constant failure and constant rejection, because we learn so much about who we are. And if you can overcome the daily rejection and start getting people from a no to a yes, it is an incredible superpower that you will have for the rest of your life. You can use that in any area of your life, any career, whatever it might be, if you understand how to know your self-worth, know your confidence, even when people say no, and not make their no about you as an individual. So it's a beautiful time to learn, grow, develop, and earn a lot of money.
And that's a very good point, because a lot of people, they get stuck on failure, they get stuck on rejection. And why do you think is that? Do you think because they worry about other people's opinion?
100%. It's a confirmation that they are not enough, that they're not good enough, they're not going to be skilled enough, that they can't figure it out. And it's also just hard. It's hard. It doesn't feel good to have someone say no to you over and over again. It doesn't feel good for 6 months to make no sales. It doesn't feel good. It's not comfortable. It's not effortless. It's not easy. So it's just a challenging season. But when people, and maybe it may not be for someone, they may not be a salesperson. And I think don't give up too soon. Just give yourself a certain amount of time and say, okay, maybe this isn't cut out for me and it's not what I'm best skilled at, and I'm going to find something else within this company or somewhere else. But I think if you can learn these skills, you'll be able to teach it to your kids. You'll be able to deal with this in negotiations with your partner or family. It'll help you in every area of your life. I'm a big believer that life and business is an enrollment game. Everything is about enrolling others in yourself, in your product, in your idea, in your mission, in your vision. It's about enrollment, which is sales. Sales is enrollment. And we are either enrolling people in our ideas, our mission, our product and service, or we are unenrolling them in our mission, product, or service based on how we show up in front of them. And maybe it's not the right opportunity for them right now, but we can't let someone's no make our energy go down lower and become less enrolling for the next person we're on the phone with or the next person we show an opportunity to. We need to have the same level of self-belief and confidence, which is hard to do when you hear no over and over again. But you can't allow the no to impact who you are. It may just not be the right timing for them. It may not be the right prospect, whatever it might be. And so that's what makes it extremely challenging for a sales rep is you got to show up with consistent effort and attitude and positivity, even when you may not get sales for a period of time, even when you have a dry spell or even when it just doesn't feel like anything's going your way. Shift the energy to just be playful, more joyful, more grateful, and know that those things will eventually come.
And let's break down consistency, because it's very easy to say you have to follow a certain pattern every day, you have to make X amount of calls, you have to do X amount of emails, but how do you turn that into something that is not just for 1 week, it becomes part of who you are?
You know, a lot of people ask me about like my podcast, Spencer was asking about this before, is like, how has it grown so much? It's not because I did it once in a while for a couple of years and I stopped and I took time off and I came back to it. It's been every week for 9 years, 3 times a week for the last 7 years. And I don't negotiate on the consistency of my commitment. I don't negotiate and say, yeah, I'm just gonna take 2 months off. I'm not gonna put in the effort. I put in the effort ahead of time to batch, to make sure that I can release when I need to. I'll schedule things differently. Doesn't mean I don't take time for myself and take breaks, but I make sure that the things that I'm committed to doing will get done, whether it's by me, my team, or something. And I think that comes with building systems eventually, not just like overworking yourself, but creating a system in place that can generate more leads or help you do the follow-up or something like that for opportunities in sales. But I just don't know how you're going to accomplish what you want by doing some things once in a while as opposed to consistently. You know, your health, if you eat poorly for 3 months, you're gonna feel it. You're physically going to feel less confident. You're physically going to feel a little heavier. You're not gonna feel as energetic because of what you've been putting in. It's the same thing when it comes to when you're eating healthy. You're gonna feel better, you're gonna feel stronger, lighter, all these different things because of what you're putting in. Same thing with your career and your business. It's all based on what you're putting into the business, what you're putting into the product or service consistently. Not, well, I worked hard for this week, so I'm gonna take a month off. Well, you're gonna get a month off results then. The results you get will be based on how you're showing up consistently. Or your ability to thoughtfully create systems and processes and team in place to support you on the follow-up, you know, once you get to a certain level with the resources. So, you know, I don't know any great athlete that just takes a year off and comes back and can win a championship without consistent effort. I don't know anyone in a relationship that can say, you know what, I'm just not gonna tell my partner I love them for a year and it's gonna flourish and thrive and they're gonna love me in return. Like, you gotta be consistent in these areas of life.
What about success? Today, during the Aldar Experts, we discuss about the reason a lot of people become successful is that they go through a lot of hurdles in life, a lot of challenges, and therefore they're able to break the chain of rejection because they had probably a lot of them and eventually become successful. Do you think that's the only way for you to achieve things in your life?
Yeah, I think for a lot of my life, I wanted to be successful and it was never fulfilling. It was never fully satisfying. And what I realized was success was about me, what I wanted, what I needed, what I thought was like going to help me. And when I turned 30, I really shifted that. All I wanted to do was be successful in my teens and 20s. And when I hit 30, I really started going down I would say a healing journey of evaluating things in my life. I had a new breaking point where a new season, a new chapter opened up, and I started saying, well, what is going to be more fulfilling is being of service. And I was sharing with you before that, you know, success is about us, service and greatness is about others, and it's always more rewarding to be mission-based around a vision of greatness, around a vision of service. It's like a renewable energy. Success feels like it's a scarce energy. There's never enough of it. Greatness and service, it never runs out. And it recharges the batteries every day when I'm coming from that space. And so I've just reframed the way I think about, I guess, my business, my career, life, like what I want, where it's not about how can I do something so I can get a result for me. It's how can I help other people accomplish their goals and dreams and just know that I made an impact and good things will come back around. I don't know, it's kind of a shift, but ever since I've done that, I've made more money than ever, I have more opportunities than ever, and I just don't feel like I'm chasing something that I need to get to make me feel good about myself. I'm letting go of the ego a bit to think about. It doesn't mean I don't want to accomplish things and I don't want to be acknowledged or whatever. I still want certain things, but I'm not chasing after them. I'm more just thinking, how can I serve? So.
And that's amazing. And what advice would you give for people who today they are in a salary job, maybe going from paycheck to paycheck, and they have a passion, but maybe they don't have enough money to go for it, and they're not necessarily living their dream or to what they believe and would love to do.
Yeah.
So.
I never recommend anyone leave their job until they start doing something on the side and seeing if they can actually make money doing it on the side. So I've got a lot of people on my team at my company that do stuff at nights and the weekends for their own side projects. A lot of them have side projects, side hustles, whatever you want to talk about. And I also, when I bring people in to my team, I say, this is about a mission. You know, this is about a mission. And I want to make sure they're in alignment to a mission. Is this something you want to do with your life? And so I try to attract people that way. But I'm always telling people, if they wanted to leave, don't leave until you're making some money on the side on the weekends or you've got money coming somehow, because I don't want you to be gone and 6 months later be broke and depressed. I don't want you to be like Spencer over here, right? I want you to have a game plan once you leave, and hopefully you're building your game plan before you leave or before you get your big exit, before you retire, or whatever it is you want to do. So figure out the game plan moving forward. But that's my advice. I would never tell anyone to like just quit their job and go for it. People do that and it works out, but I think for a lot of people, they struggle doing that. So find a way on the weekends to build confidence, build a side hustle, have some side project.
And to close today, what would be the number one tip you would give somebody starting in a sales industry today, in real estate? What would be the most important thing and advice you would give?
I really reflect about almost all my life lessons come from sports. And so everything I do in my life now is based on what worked for me in sports. When I was thriving and succeeding or accomplishing my goals at the highest level in athletics, it was because I had great coaches and great teams that I was a part of. When I was struggling, frustrated, getting injured, it's because I didn't have the right coaches, and the energy and the environment of the team was more negative. So it just seemed like it just wasn't as fun. If you're not a confident person in sales starting out, you need a confident leader to support you, to mentor you, to get you excited in the mornings, to go out there when you've been rejected 100 times the day before. And you need other examples of people that you can lean on so you're not doing it alone. If you're doing it alone, you might as well not do it, in my opinion. Find a great leader in your sales team, find a great team of examples who are models of individuals that do it differently. Because not everyone's going to be like hustling and yelling at people, selling them. They're going to have a more soft approach. You got to figure out who on your team and a leader that you can model, who's a mentor with a model that you can mimic. And then you can start practicing daily. You're going to make mistakes, but those little successes just build upon those things, and you can lean more into those wins as opposed to the losses, I guess. So find a great leader, a mentor on a sales team that you respect. Not just someone who recruits you that you don't respect, but like find a good team that's like, okay, I can see how they do it. And shadow people, like go on sales calls with people or go on in-person meetings with people and just observe lots of different people and see how they do it. That's what I would recommend. Don't do it alone.
And it's great. It's a great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us
Appreciate
today.
it, Cecilia.
We really enjoy having you at the Aldar Experts.
Thank you for having me.
Spencer, thank you so much for letting us use your podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Appreciate it.